So when I had this company called Marquis Jet, it was a private jet company. We took it with no aviation experience. We had no airplanes when we started. It was just an idea. We grew it to
What did those initial customers look like?
I mean, this is a whole nother podcast episode, but we had this idea. You know, everyone's just like an idea away from changing your life or a meeting away. We had an idea that changed our life, and we had the meeting that changed our life with the guy that could give us the airplanes. But anyway, I was 28, 29 years old. We started this company. We grew it to $6 billion in sales. We sold it to Buffett's, Berkshire Hathaway's NetJets division. I was 30 something years old, and we flew the who's who of pop culture at the time. The best athletes, the best entrepreneurs, the best CEOs, the best, actors, et cetera. And as a young 30-year-old kid, your age basically, I was obsessed with their habits. So I'm around these people at the airports, and I'd ask them, like, man, my dad owned the plumbing supply. Like, where do you vacation? How do you spend your time? I was obsessed with their habits. And as they would feed them to me and tell me, like, oh, I get up at 3, I read 6 newspapers, I do this, I would try them. And some I would throw out and some would stick. And throughout the last 20, 30 years, I'm a compilation of the best habits from people, even, like yourselves. Like, tell me, what do you guys do? So I heard about fasting. I fast and I try it. And if it works and I like it, I keep them. If not, I move on.
What are some of the specific habits that you remember picking up from like certain people? Like, are there any that stand out?
Oh my God. So many. The one guy, I asked him, I remember specifically asking him, he had made a lot of money. He was uber wealthy, beyond wealthy. And I asked him literally how he lived rich. And I asked him, like, what does your day look like? Walk me through your day. And first he told me that he had all this gold buried in his back. He told me all this shit. But one thing he said, he's like, I spend 3 hours a day cumulatively for myself. And I was like, 3 hours? Who could do that? What are you talking about? What do you mean? What does that look like? He's like, well, like I wake up and I spend about 30 minutes just reading the paper. I'll take a sauna every day for about 30 minutes. I'll go for like a walk for an hour, and I usually read. So cumulatively, I try to have 3 hours a day. And I was like, I'm like, why? He's like, I show up better at work. I don't resent my boss or my partner for taking away my time. If I do things and I check the Logan box or check the Mike box, I then have time for my wife if she wants. And I was like, he's like, try it. So I started like carving out specifically time in the day for me. Now I know that sounds insane. Like, how could you take 3 hours a day? But even at 22, 23 years old, I realized I was doing it. I was running an hour a day since I'm 21. I've been doing saunas like forever, 30, 40 minutes a day. So cumulatively, if you could take time for yourself, I think it's super important, especially if you have a family, because you don't want to resent your partner for, like, if Sarah was like, you can't run, I'd be mad at her,
Yeah.
But if she's like, yeah, go ahead and do that, sweetie. And then later on, we got to go I'm like, fine. Sure. Another really good strategy and tip and habit that I picked up is that most of the people that I met, like, there's certain themes throughout the people that were flying with us that were uber successful. Obviously a lot of them were risk takers, but when it comes to habits and routines, which are the most important things, we're all a product of winning habits, winning routines, and winning mindset. That's the 3 most important things, in my opinion: winning routines, winning habits, and a winning mindset. And one of the common themes were a lot of the people that I asked, like, how do you start? They start their day the night before. They make a list of what they have to do. They don't wake up and wing it. What am I going to do today? They would take a version of, like, here's my day tomorrow, 8 o'clock I'm here, I'm going to work out, 9 o'clock, 10. They just follow the script. They're very efficient. They're creating efficiencies. And, that became really, because I was winging it for a long time.
But does that work everywhere? Or is that focused mainly on business people? Because I could see a world where that wouldn't work for creatives.
I struggle with it.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like I wrote a book. I know you wrote a book. I wrote a book. I would, if I said tomorrow I'm going to wake up at 10 a.m. and write. At 10 a.m. I may feel mentally like, I want to go cycle. And I'm going to write at 6 p.m. instead.
Right. But here's a better way to do it.
Yeah.
So instead of doing it day by day, for a creative, because I'm creative. I'm writing 2 books right now.
Amazing.
So instead of saying I'm going to write 10 pages a day, I just say I take a week approach. It's like, man, I'm going to try to write 50 pages this week. So if I miss a day or I don't feel it, whatever, I'm not setting myself up for failure. Now I'm like, oh, no problem.
You just broaden it.
Yeah, broaden. I'll make it up tomorrow or the next day. And it gives me more flexibility because you want to set yourself up for success.
Hey guys, if you like that clip, hit the subscribe button. And if you want to see more zany clips, click the video right here.